going to give you a presentation without slides. I'm going to do this naked, no slides this time. The presentation is going to be titled 17 Things I'd Love to See You Do and Help You With. Actually, all of these things are for the good of the industry as well as your company. They're in three camps: strategy, marketing, and business development. So I'm going to start with strategy. The first thing I would recommend you considering, these are all, there's no particular order with these ideas. Number one is form your own mastermind of CEOs of dating and social companies. You today are surrounded by people who are CXOs and leaders of dating and a smattering of social companies. Make some friends. Come through to these LTRs. Make some friends. Find out who is non-competitive to you and invite them into a mastermind. And I'd recommend having 5 friends that are completely non-competitive and doing a call every 2 months for an hour. This is minimum effective dose mastermind. It's easy to do. Make it 1 hour. Come up with a bunch of questions beforehand on WhatsApp, and you will find that's one of the best forms of informing your strategy possible, because you're all complementary. You're not competitive. So number one, form your own mastermind. Number two, and we can help you with this, by the way. We do this right now. Cortland Brooks has a mastermind with 5 CEOs of dating companies, and it's something I definitely want to expand on. Number two, do a merciless product teardown with an independent company. Get some fresh eyes on your product and ask them to tune for user experience, the brand, the conversions, and the retention. This is what we do. I think you can have friends do this. You can have your power users do this, but make sure it's a merciless product teardown. They shouldn't be afraid of tearing the wheels off it, but they should give you some perspective on what they think it should look like instead of what it looks like right now. Constructive feedback. Number three, go where others are not. This sounds rather basic and general, but this is really powerful advice. I remember my CEO of many years ago, back in 2004, I was in the offices and New Pulse of Cupid.com with my CEO, Eric Strauss, who was the founder and CEO of Cupid.com. And he said, we were talking product strategy, and I actually was a great fan of eHarmony. And gosh, this was exactly that period when eHarmony was rising through the roof. And his answer to my pleading with him to add more compatibility profiling and make it a bit more thoughtful in the way the product brought people together, he said, if they go left, I go right. And he wanted to do something which is completely different from what was in the marketplace. So that was interesting advice, but it's a good way to rethink what you're doing. It's like if you're finding all the industry going left and doing swiping, you got to come up with something else. You got to come up with something that people will talk about, because that's been talked about. And if you're not being talked about, you're dead in the water these days. Number four, you should optimize for BLRs. I like the term BLR, beautiful, loving relationships. And love comes in all kinds, of course. But what is key right now is to get the metrics around user outcomes. And actually, we've seen this quoted. Match is now quoted as saying they're ruthlessly focusing on user outcomes right now. Metrics are key. Hinge is focused on conversations and sessions and dates and departures, apparently. So optimize for BLRs, optimize for the user outcomes, number 4. Number 5, and I don't hear this talked about enough, is have an exit strategy. Do you really have an exit strategy? Match will buy us is not an exit strategy. Match, you're buying less companies, that you've got to move the needle to be bought by Match. You've got to be a very significant size company, or be disrupting them and have incredibly fast growth, or be able to grow without buying customers, or be international, preferably all of them. So, one thing to bear in mind is that we do help companies now exit. I have that capability, and I'm part of the largest buyers network in the world. Marketing, right? Number 6. My number 6 advice for you is do great window dressing user events. What I mean by window dressing is the dating industry has a love-hate relationship with events. If you're going to do an okay event, don't bother. It has to be an amazing event. If you can't produce an amazing event, it's a waste of time. It's a window dressing event. It shows off your company, it shows off your brand, and it pulls out the kinds of people who are likely to be advocates, vocal advocates for your brand. So you've got to make sure you wow them. How do you wow them? Just make sure everything rolls out perfectly in a nice venue, somewhere where they can feel the essence of your brand ultimately. Make sure the event sells out early. And you can look at Thursday. I think Thursday are doing interesting job with events right now. You can also refer back to Match Live, which happened. Match was producing events years ago. Yeah, so they've had some experience in events. They don't scale well. They don't make that much money, but that's not the point. The point is they're a showcase for your brand to vocal advocates. You can also, just to Grant's point about talking to end users, show up and talk to your end users. These are pseudo focus groups as well. So those are the two ways to kind of hack events. Make sure they're brilliant. You get the right people in the room that are more likely, most likely, hopefully, to become vocal advocates, and listen to them. See what they're saying. Listen to what they're saying. Number 7, don't just do influencer marketing. I see a lot of UGC type, spray and pray type influencer marketing. The whole point of influencer marketing is to invoke the advocate effect. So you want to do advocate influencer marketing. And what that means is you meet the influencer in their channel, on their terms. You propagate the idea of your brand through into their network, through to their audience by selling that in. You spend a bit of time with them to give them a true sense of your brand and have them hopefully try it out and follow the arc of discovery with them. Don't just do one-offs. If they're good and their metrics look decent, then you want to be with them every month and be on an ongoing basis with them. We are doing advocate influencer marketing right now and playing and looking in depth at the metrics around specifically YouTube. I like YouTube because we can do long form. We can do 30-second integrations, even 60-second integrations, and we're within a larger story, so we can do a proper integration. And then we kind of fan out from there. If an influencer they've got YouTube, but they've also got TikTok and Insta, we'll go wherever they are. But we kind of look at YouTube predominantly just because we like the long form. Number 8, hire spokespeople. People buy from people, especially in this new world that we're moving into. It's going to be more fake than ever. So hire someone who actually knows your product to talk to the press. We just heard Grant talking about the success stories. This is a concept that I think will come back. Ideally, this spokesperson should have a sense of your industry, your product, be a user ideally. They could even be an influencer, somebody that you've brought through as somebody who's resonant, that influencers are good spokespeople possibly for you. Number 9, keep an eye on your brand reputation. This is real simple and real crazy, actually. A lot of people will type in your name in Google. When they just want to go to .com, they'll just type in yourname.com even in Google. And unfortunately, you're often going to then be hammered with the price of them clicking on your paid link in Google. So I don't know. You want to make sure that page, because a lot of people do use that your name lookup, that page looks good. And the second page and third and fourth and fifth. You go 5 pages deep. We do a 5-page brand name analysis on Google. So we just look up whatever your name is on Google and New York typically, and then we'll look at 5 pages deep. We want to see what's on the first page, and then we rank everything to see, is it positive, neutral, negative, is it relevant or irrelevant? These are 5 categories. We're looking at positive, neutral, or negative, and then we're looking at relevant or irrelevant, and we just provide a kind of a snapshot and then rank it. And then we also look for things on the 3rd, 4th, and 5th page, because these are things, if they're negative, they're going to come up potentially and really impact your conversions and brand as people research your brand if they want to pay for it. So very, very important. Number 10, have a more public CEO and do Apple-esque product announcements to a group of advocates, employees, and leading press, with your CEO perhaps leading the show. This worked fine for Apple. Why not for us? I mean, why aren't the big brands doing this? When Match and Bumble and Parship Meet Group roll out new fascinating features, we should celebrate that, I think, and we should have some kind of annual or quarterly even announcement. It's a great way of bringing together your power users, perhaps your advocates, a group of employees. It doesn't even need to be in person. Ideally, it's in person, but I've not really seen anybody do this. I'd love to do this for somebody. This is an opportunity that's sitting there and waiting. No one's done it yet. Number 11, recognize key press and be more responsive to press. A good way of really annoying press is just not getting back to them quickly. It's so simple. If you can't get back to press within 2 hours, you've lost the opportunity most of the time, especially if it's newspapers. So just make sure you make it easy. Give them a WhatsApp these days. Unfortunately, you get lambasted by users as a public WhatsApp or email. My email used to be the only email on Plenty of Fish because I did the press responses for Plenty of Fish for a number of years. And yeah, you've got to cull through. You've got to keep your eye on it. These days with AI, you can cull more effectively, but you need to have quick turnaround for press. Number 12, run a podcast a la DOAC, Diary of a CEO, to educate and inform users and publicize new science and authors in the relationship field. I mean, this is a nice opportunity for you. You're leading a dating company, a sizable one that has some resources. What resources do you really need to run a podcast? Even if it's monthly, the content will be interesting to have some notable at your company interviewing notable people in the industry. Just use Descript. It's got Squadcast built in now. It's so simple. Do the video as well so people can connect with you. And then you can slice and dice the video up into shorts for Insta and for TikTok. It's not difficult these days. Number 13, and we can do this for you, by the way. Number 13, engage with top flight academics by running surveys and enabling them with limited no PII, meaning don't give them too much data, but give them some capability to do data analysis. So what academics really want is survey capability and the ability to look at data, especially if they're putting some effect, if they're making some kind of change, like an A/B test. Imagine you're doing an A/B test. They want to essentially run A/B tests and change stuff, see what it looks like, see what's working, what the kind of user behavior is around it. And there's two ways of working with academics. One is prohibitively expensively with them marching to your tune, or you can engage them and say, we'll run surveys, we'll give you some data. What do you want us to do? Then it's free. You get to learn from that, but it does take some time and you've got to march to their tune. So it's cost prohibitive or it's free. They are desperate for data. They are desperate for survey capability. Where we have this, we're not giving it to them. We should. We can help you with this. And number 14, influence the influencer of influencers and run advocacy-focused influencer programs in long-form socials. What I mean by that is there are certain, once you start appearing on YouTube and TikTok and influencers are talking up your brand, other influencers will take note. So you kind of want to shoot for the kinds of influencers that other influencers follow. And you can see them talking about each other. So, if it's, Joe Rogan, for example, everybody's talking about Joe Rogan. He's got a huge follower effect. Even DOAC, once somebody is interviewed, there's a kind of a pecking order with influencers. So it's good to have a sense of that pecking order and pick off the influencers that influence bigger influencers. Business development, right? Number 15. I've got 3 more ideas for you. Appeal to major banking. This is a toughie, this one. Right. Appeal to major banking and marketing to distinguish high emotion entertainment products and erotic services from dating, and work to resolve the MCC 7273 mid-issue. I told you it's complicated. What I mean by that is right now, if you're doing non-platform, i.e. non-iOS or Android payments, you're using payment providers, and those payment providers lump dating in with erotic services. And that's a travesty. It's not good for our reputation. It's certainly not good for our rates. So it's up to them. I mean, it would be nice to not be lumped in under MCC 7273. And I think there's a job to be done there. Right now, dating and banking is being destroyed. I mean, it's very difficult to get payment processes. So whatever you can do as a bigger company, whatever we can do collectively, we need to try and improve the reputation of dating companies with banks. Otherwise, we lose a lot of efficiency there. Number 16, buy or build your own disruptor. Right. So if you're a larger company, you want to try and buy a company, but what do you do then? Do you bring it in close and put your best resources onto it, or do you let it off into a corner to essentially be a skunk work? It's very important to let it off into its own corner and leave it the hell alone, because it may not survive if you're meddling too much. You want to learn from it, but you want to allow it to be a skunk works. In fact, if you just set up a skunk works, this has been done successfully. Match has done this, actually. Create a skunk works to disrupt you. This is especially important as we transition to new media like augmented reality. Number 17, this is real simple. Show up to conferences. Come along to LTR. We'd love to see more of you. Thank you.